What's wrong with the stupid TV? There's nothing to watch. Oops, never mind. I found something.
Well, welcome to the final show for the Dallas Cowboys for the season of 2025. Week 18, we faced off versus our arch rivals, the Washington Commanders, at home after we already pulled off a victory in Washington. Very weird and close game all the way to the end. And I could say this is the same way this one ended too. A weird ending. We lost 23-19. We had it within our clutches. We gave Trey Lance a tryout today to see if he's worth the $5 bill that Abraham Lincoln is printed on. And it seems like maybe he is worth the $5 bill. You know, this is his first, besides the preseason game he played, his first game he actually got to play. And we're going to talk about some sobering comments of what's going to happen in the off season because unless you've been living on a rock, we're not going to the playoffs. This was not our year, so we got to see if next year is going to be our year. And I'm pretty sure all the Cowboys pundits are saying no. What's going to happen with the future signees? What's going to happen with the current players we have now? I love Michael Parsons. What's going to happen with our coach? And we already know there's nothing going to happen with Jerry Jones. So y'all might as well just forget that. Unless Mother Nature or Father Time takes care of that, that's the only thing that's going to change in the front office. So, Terrain, your comments about this game today between the Washington Commanders and Dallas Cowboys.
You know what? It wasn't much of a dog in the fight with this game, other than hell, even if they won, they didn't even finish with a winning record or at 500 or above 500. So it wasn't much of a dog in the fight other than probably bragging rights. But I didn't watch the whole game. I missed just about the first half, first quarter rather.
You missed a bunch of field goals. That's what you missed.
I saw that, and I was thinking maybe we'll field goal our way to victory. I was thinking maybe we'll field goal our way to victory, but in typical Dallas fashion, especially Dallas fashion at home, they found a way to drop the ball, lose the game. It was Terry McLaurin. He hit the go-ahead. He got the go-ahead touchdown pass that pretty much sealed it. You know, I believe Washington was playing for a seating spot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they had something to play for. Dallas wasn't really playing for nothing. Dallas was just playing because it was a game on their schedule and they had to end the season. There was nothing that makes or break this. There was nothing that you can say that we did this, we lost, or anything is going to happen because of the loss. Again, we already had a losing record going into the game. We were already below 500 going into the game, and winning the game would have kept us below 500. So while there was moments in the game where I was starting to, get a little hopeful, it's kind of the game. That game pretty much summarized our whole season, and what a fitting way to end the season at home on a what could have been type game. But Dallas got so much they gotta focus on going into the offseason, like you mentioned earlier. And right now, this game is just a footnote, man. I mean, if you go back to the Cincinnati game where we lost on the punt, let's say we won that game, we would have had to win out to get into the playoffs. Lost against Philly and we lost this game. So I mean, not our best season. We got to go back to the drawing board, man. It's a lot of moving and shaking that we got to do to get back to where we want to be. Obviously bring Dak back. CeeDee Lamb, he comes back.
Is that what we need to do?
I mean, it's what we're gonna do. I mean, it gives us the best shot to at least get into the playoffs. I give you that. I mean, the man can get us there. The man can't get us into the playoffs. It's just once we're there, what can he do?
Do you think? Do you think he would have got us to the playoffs this year if he played the full season?
I think we will have I believe we will have a shot still right now, meaning we would have had to rely on some other teams to win or lose. We wouldn't have got in on our own rights. We would have been relying on other teams to lose. But I believe as of right now, if Dak was played quarterback all season, I don't think we would be completely out come week 18. Like we were out 3 weeks ago. If Dak was the quarterback, we would probably be out today, as opposed to 3 weeks ago.
I think we were out.
Would have gave us a longer lasting shot.
Yeah, I think that Philly game that week, I think we were still in, but it was like a lot of teams had to lose or win.
By technicality, we were still in going into the Philly game. After the Philly game, we were completely out because we lost. But I believe if Dak did not get hurt, he would have given us a better shot than Cooper Rush, Trey Lance. I mean, my gripe with Dak is playoff time, not regular season. So I'll give him that.
Yeah, I can probably agree with your assessment there. I think we wouldn't have been a sure shot to get in the playoffs for sure, because we had Dak at the beginning of the season and things weren't turning out well. But we also had a bucket load of injuries, namely Michael Parsons and Lawrence were hurt for us within a big chunk of the season. The running game was non-existent. That had nothing to do with injuries. It could be offensive line that was decimated. Bland was gone. I mean, who wasn't gone at that point? And then eventually Dak did end up getting hurt and was gone for the season.
Brandon Cooks. He played week 1. I remember week 1 when we played the Browns. Brandon Cooks got that nice touchdown. I was like, okay, we gonna make some noise this season. And I don't remember after week 1, Brandon Cooks was injured up until I think Atlanta. But injuries played a part. I know a lot of Cowboy haters want to say Cowboys suck and this and that, but like any team in any sport, it's difficult to overcome injuries, especially when your key players are injured. Your Micah Parsons, your Dax, your Brandon Cooks. CeeDee Lamb was injured up until 2 weeks ago. He just kept playing. So it's no excuse because everyone's injured. It's no excuse, but some can play through it. It got to the point with the Cowboys where they couldn't no longer play through it. D-Law never came back after that Giants game.
Right. Another interesting fact today too. I could not believe, and I know I'm trying to give Rico Dowdle his props because eventually as the season went on, he got better with his running game, and he looked like he could be a possible number 1 running back for us.
I believe that is if we can take any positive out of this season for the Cowboys, that's one. Rico Dowdle did not start off so hot because I believe we were still going back and forth between him and Zeke, who is no longer with us.
That was the reason why we lost today. We didn't have Zeke.
But in the beginning of the season, I believe the Cowboys was going back and forth between Rico Dowdle and Zeke and Deuce Vaughn. We had 3 running backs in the running back room, and Rico Dowdle wasn't. They were trying to split the touches, but if we can take any positive from this season, Rico Dowdle finished with 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
And and he wasn't the number one back.
He wasn't a workhorse.
That is
a big part.
That is a pretty good feat in itself. I ain't gonna lie about that.
But he scored a touchdown today in the end zone, which was hard to come by the way. But somebody on the broadcast said that was his first touchdown, I think, in the red zone or maybe period.
Since the Giants.
Since the Giants. I was like, no way. He hasn't had one since. I know usually they may pass it off to Ezekiel for the short yardage, but I figured he had more than that.
I honestly think that is accurate. He just got a bunch of yards since then.
I guess so.
I think he just got a bunch of yards since then, but that's probably accurate because Zeke got 3 on the season.
That's it.
I mean, for us this season, touchdowns was hard to come by, so you probably can count them all.
That's something that definitely has to be shored up next year. Okay, well, with that question being presented now, because what you just said, is Mike McCarthy coming back? That's what we need to know. Is Mike McCarthy coming back?
Yes, he's coming back.
You think so?
Mike McCarthy will be back as the coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones is going to play this. For starters, I think Mike McCarthy's contract expires on the 14th, somewhere in January. It's coming up. Mike McCarthy will be back for a couple of reasons. One, the man did go 12-5 multiple years prior to this season, and this season he can lean on the crutch that, hey, all of my players were injured, so he had to work with what he had. And who else is out there? I mean, there was Belichick, but Belichick is going to be in Chapel Hill. That was a possibility. There was the talk of Dion. Dion's not going nowhere.
Oh yeah, he's not coming.
Dion's not leaving Colorado, and Bill Belichick is now in Chapel Hill. So because of who, it's kind of like, who can we get? And considering all the work that he has done prior to this year, yes, I believe Mike McCarthy will be back. So if you're a Cowboy fan, don't be shocked when it is announced. It's going to happen. Again, his contract expires in about a week or two. So Jerry Jones is bringing him back. Again, I think his strongest crutch is the fact that he was down a lot of players this year. And typically you can see what he can do when he has everyone healthy. I believe he'll be back.
Okay. What about the offensive coach?
The offensive, you mean the defensive coordinator?
No, that offensive coach for Dallas.
What was his name? I can't remember the name.
I got you. Brian Schottenheimer.
Okay. No. While Mike McCarthy, I believe, is coming back, I believe Mike McCarthy is going to call more plays next season, like he was the season prior with Dak, right when Kellen Moore left. I don't think the offensive coordinator is coming back, but Mike McCarthy is coming back. Who we get for another offensive coordinator, beyond me, but that's where the heads got to collide as far as who's out there and who's best for that position in Dallas.
Okay. You think Mike Zimmer comes back?
Ooh. Oh. Yes. Mike Zimmer comes back. If Dallas defense can play like they've played the past 3-4 weeks when they were like playing for pride, when the season is meaningful and matters, Mike Zimmer don't have to worry about anything. So I believe if we can get that quality of defense all year from Mike Zimmer, yeah. Yeah, Mike Zimmer, he'll be back. He'll be back. Mike Zimmer and Mike McCarthy will be back.
So I don't know what kind of season would it take for Mike McCarthy for him to be fired if this is not a fireable offense this year.
So
what would it take?
Let's keep in mind. Let's go back in time here.
Okay.
Jason Garrett went 8-8, 8-8, 8-8. He stayed around for a while.
Yeah, but that was Jerry Jones's boy though. You know that was like his boy though. He really loved Jason Garrett like a son.
Yeah, and I'm thinking he's damn near that. He's damn near have that bond with Mike McCarthy, or he's getting there. And again, and Mike McCarthy has done better than Jason Garrett as far as on paper, as far as winning seasons. So if he kept Jason Garrett all that time, Mike McCarthy just had a bad season this season, and that was mainly because of injuries. Yes, I don't know what it'll take for Mike McCarthy to go. Probably Mike McCarthy stepping down. Who knows? But
well, there's a possibility because Mike McCarthy could look at the head coaching vacancy that people think is going to be available in Chicago for the Bears. Maybe Mike gets tired of not being a coach's coach, where he doesn't have to answer to the management team, or the management team doesn't do all the press conferences for him. Maybe he gets tired of it. Maybe he gets tired of being under pressure like he's been this season, or maybe every season since he's been there, and he goes for a fresh start in Chicago.
Possibly, and that may be the only. That may be not the only. That may be one of the routes out for Mike McCarthy. The fact that he's tired of playing second fiddle to Jerry, and he wants to coach his own team his way.
Tired of Mike McCarthy. I mean, not Mike McCarthy. Tired of Michael Parsons going on his podcast and throwing thinly veiled jabs at him.
Well, Mike McCarthy isn't the only one. Michael Parsons is throwing jabs at. Michael Parsons. See, the difference between like you and I talking about them is we don't play in the NFL on our podcast. Michael Parsons has to be careful of being in the media and being a subject line for the media. It's kind of like you can dish it, but you can't take it. So, Michael Parsons he's becoming I can see that he's embracing this Dallas Cowboy celebrity. I can see that. He's definitely embracing it. He's definitely aware of that star on the helmet.
No, he's aware, but he's not aware that he hasn't done anything to get all this stardom that he's gotten so far. He hasn't done anything yet. He hasn't been a top pass rusher or top sack leader yet. He hasn't earned these. He can possibly be the best defensive lineman title yet. Not top 5, top 10 yet. It's not. Definitely not. Lawrence Taylor. He's definitely not him yet. That's where Belichick was trying to compare him to, and other NFL pundits out there. He hasn't done anything yet. He hasn't been. Has he been? Let me see. Has he been a sack leader?
Michael Parsons.
Has he led the league in sacks? I know he's always in the top 2 or 3 or so, but has he led?
No, I believe it was T.J. Watt, Myles Garrett, maybe. I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that. I'm talking since Parsons has been in the league.
I'm looking at it now. Go ahead, just talk about yourself.
But it's Dallas. We gotta go back to the drawing board. The draft is what we gotta look forward to. Dallas always try to make noise in the draft because they don't do nothing at the trade deadline.
I don't think he's ever have. I'm trying to find it now. I don't see a season where he's led. But he's always in the top.
You said, I think he's always been in the and possibly for defensive player of the year. I think he's always been in the conversation or in the running.
And he set some record today. Let's see, what record did he set?
Yeah, I saw him like celebrating something. I don't know what. I couldn't even.
Let's see. Michael Parsons is the 5th player in NFL history with double-digit sacks in each of his first 4 seasons, joining Reggie White, Claude Humphrey, Derek Thomas, and Dwight Freeney. There you go.
I mean, that's an accomplishment, but
it is. Has it led to winning, though? None of this stuff has led to winning.
Yeah,
empty calories.
You break that record on your game where you're already eliminated, and now you just go home. So that's why I was watching this game with all right, man. The past 3-4 weeks, I was watching all the Cowboys games. Where was this X amount of weeks ago? To the point where even with Dak's injury, you could still be in the running to a degree. But it's the draft and Dak Prescott is the draft. Dak Prescott and Mike McCarthy are the 3 factors going into the offseason that's going to get some headlines when it comes to Dallas. And like I said, Mike McCarthy, we should know his in a couple of weeks because of his contract expiring.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to take a pay cut. He's going to have to take it. He can't ask what he's actually worth on the market to stay in Dallas, I don't think. Or so somebody going to have to be let go. Or Dak is going to have to restructure his contract to give him some money to keep him on the team. But I don't think he's going to get the max that he wants.
I honestly think Dak is going to have to restructure his contract, considering also we got Parsons coming up, and we trying to keep Parsons on the team. Dak is already making too much money, and Dak only played 5-6 games. I don't know, but I believe at the end of the day, his contract is gonna have to redraft it.
Dak was making too much money. The contract before. I understand, with this quarterback market, you just get paid because you've got to have a quarterback to win the Super Bowl in this league nowadays. And so it's ultra important to try to get a average to better quarterback on your team. And it's where else do you go? I mean, I thought there's plenty of places to go to draft a quarterback or to pay for a quarterback, trade him for someone else. Somebody was out there down the line. But Dak has been our guy. Looks like he's going to be our guy for the foreseeable future because Trey Lance is not that guy. Rush is not that guy. Now you're locked up because who's going to take that contract unless somehow you can just drop him and drop that contract and somebody else will pick him up, but you're still going to be in the hole either way. There's nothing else you can do. It was just a stupid signing in the first place to pay him that much. I won't say it was a stupid signing, but stupid to pay him as the number 1 quarterback in the world when, like I said, you're getting paid more than Mahomes, who has a proven track record. I don't even care if you won a Super Bowl. You could have had Cincinnati's quarterback, and he's worth that money maybe, based off of talent, based off of what he can possibly do in the future for the team. I haven't seen anything that I would say Dak can possibly do or would change that would make me think eventually he's going to conquer this mountain. I don't see it. And he's getting older, too. He's not a young guy anymore.
Like I said, Dak is a great regular season quarterback. I believe he's a tremendous regular season quarterback. Again, if he
put that on here.
Huh?
I think tremendous is going a little bit too far. He's slightly above average.
Yeah, but aside from your Mahomes, who's elite like that? Mahomes, Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. What's your boy for the Bills?
Allen?
What I'm getting at is it looks like the quarterback position in the NFL is a sea of slightly average quarterbacks with one or two elite floating around, and that's your Mahomes is possibly Lamar. So with that being said, where will if we let Dak go, we're just gonna possibly get around the same style type player.
Well, Washington was garbage for a while. I mean, it's still garbage eternally, but garbage for a while. And they drafted who? Jaden Daniels, based off his potential so far. I won't say he's better than Dak, but his potential, what it looks like, he could be better than Dak.
Well. Okay, now we're talking about going into the draft, and we've already shot ourselves in the foot with that one. This upcoming draft, because
we kept winning when we weren't supposed to.
We kept winning.
Do that right.
We kept winning when we just, I guess, we thought we had a shot, and we kind of did. But you got to take the good with the bad with that, because there was Shadar Sanders hanging in the Raptors for that one. But let's say for shits and giggles, we so bad that we get Shador.
Yeah.
Do you think Shador? You got Shador backing up Dak. What? How does that go? Like Shador is not your. I dare I say he's not your. He's not a bench riding quarterback even in his first season. He's going to have to play. He wasn't going to ride the pine behind Dak.
Good. I mean, how you think Green Bay did it? Green Bay did it with Brett Favre, and here we go with Aaron Rodgers, and then here we go with the quarterback they have now. They
Jordan
did it with Jordan Love, 3 straight quarterbacks that had to ride the pine for a few years, and then when it was time for those used to be prime quarterbacks to leave and go to the New York Jets, seemingly, I don't know why that's the home for the Green Bay quarterbacks when they're supposed to be riding out the pasture, but once they left, the other quarterback took a hold of the reins and became successful, watching what the previous quarterback was doing and being successful. Why can't we do that?
In my opinion, I believe it's a Dallas thing. Meaning, let's say we got Shador Sanders, Deion Sanders' son. Shador Sanders is already seemingly known and famous from college and from his daddy. I don't know, like even Jerry. I just think it'd sit wrong for Jerry Jones for him to have all this talent on the bench, knowing, but then you gotta take into consideration. Oh God, am I gonna bench Dak for Shador?
Well, they wouldn't do it now because of that contract. They would do it towards the tail end of it, maybe the next 2 years, or the last 2 years of Dak's contract, maybe. Unless they can find a way to cut him and get rid of that contract. But yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, but that's right. the predicament Dallas puts in their own self. It's just the same way as the Lakers do. The Lakers never want to have a bad season where they have to tank and go draft somebody because they just want to stay successful all the time. They never want to be an 8 seed even though they're 8 seed now and 10 seed. Well, technically, I think they're 4th seed, but they'll probably end up going back eventually. But they never want to be at the bottom of the league and not be talked about as important or intriguing story. And Dallas is the same way, even though they're making the playoffs, they hovered around just a little bit so people will still talk about them. And if they don't get it done next year or this year, they hope by next year something will happen. Will put them back in the middle of the pack or at least at the top of the NFC East. But they never want to just struggle and draft somebody and hope that they can become a number 1 team again, like Washington did.
Well, Dallas is not going to be like next season. They're going to be better. Well, how can you be worse? They're going to be better.
Oh,
They're going to
watch
be better.
this.
They're going to be better next season. I I remember on an episode of Undisputed with Skip Bayless, and he said this. And I agree wholeheartedly. Dallas' main worry now is the skill level at the quarterback position in the NFC East. Jalen Hurts, Jaden Danielson. I don't know who the hell New York's quarterback is going to be, but that's at least two in the NFC. That's at least two in the NFC East that Dallas has to worry about. The times for Dallas was when the NFC as a whole was low. Like Dallas, like what was it? Last year when we lost to Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
If there was any picture perfect time for Dallas to at least go to the NFC Championship game, it was that year. It was that year. That or the year when we had the best. We won the NFC. Dak and Zeke's rookie year, we got the first round bye. Then we lose in the divisional round to the Rams. I think they got to capitalize, and I believe right now, the draft picks are not going to be in our favor because we, like you just said, we don't want to suck so bad that we have to take the best player coming out of college, and we don't want. So they want to win to a degree to stay relevant, even without the playoffs. You and I both know Dallas ain't in the playoffs this season, but I'll say after the playoffs, they'll still be the talk of the NFL.
So what are they going to do in the offseason?
What are we going to do in the offseason? What are we going to do with McCarthy? If McCarthy signs before the Super Bowl, how McCarthy is going to react to this season, things of that nature. You know, there's storylines around Dallas every year that builds up the upcoming season. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Is Dak fully recovered? D-Law, Michael Parsons, where is he going to play? That's going to be the big one right there. Is Michael Parsons going to get paid?
I think he'll get paid, but it just ain't going to be the amount of money that other teams are willing to pay him. But I don't know. There may be a team out there that I keep hearing rumblings. Possibly it could go to Philly. That they're looking at him. And boy, that would be messy there.
Well, he himself has said on his podcast that they're gonna figure out a way that he remains a Cowboy. And I think he's true. I think that's true. I think one of the ways is gonna be we're gonna reconstruct Dak's contract. I do believe that's gonna happen. That's probably gonna be the major way to get Parsons to stay in Dallas, especially if Mike Zimmer stays, because that defense is built up. Mike Zimmer has built that defense around Michael Parsons. If Mike Zimmer stays as the coordinator, Michael Parsons will be in Dallas.
Okay, I do not think Mike Zimmer would be let go because he's only been one season in, and you know Jerry is a believer. Like, okay, well, I'll give you at least 8 seasons until I give up on you.
Well, he was with the Cowboys back in the day, Mike Zimmer.
Yeah. I don't know if that's going to work the same way with the offensive coordinator though, because the red zone was just horrible. We were at the bottom of the league. We might have been last place in that.
For that reason, the red zone scoring was horrible, which is why we had to get mega leg Brandon Aubrey, because this dude can kick from anywhere on the goddamn field.
He should be the MVP of the team. Like, good gracious, he got us out of. He's the only one that kept us in games,
including today.
Yeah, including today. I'm like, what would he if he actually had a team that could score left and right, man, and on top of the kicking? Wow.
if we had like 2014 Romo's Cowboys with that dude as the field goal kicker.
Yeah.
That would have been tremendous. But because of that reason, not being able to score in the red zone, I feel like the offensive coordinator is gone. Yeah, you got to score in the red zone, and you can't. I mean, it's good to rely on your field goal kicker, but not that much to the point where you're on the one and you can't get in on the one.
CeeDee Lamb, he didn't play today. He's dealing with a shoulder injury. So he's going to reconvene next year and see if he can start his campaign to get another 1,000-yard year as a wide receiver. But I do think there is some disdain between him and Dak, even from the year before, that carried over to this year. Yeah, they looked okay at certain times of year this year, but I really think there's some separation between those two. Not just hostility where they're just mad at each other, but they didn't seem to be on the same page a lot of times this year with throws. Like he didn't know. CD didn't know where to be at on the field, or Dak didn't know where he was on the field. He's throwing too far ahead or too far short. They didn't seem to have any, I won't say any kind of connection, but their connection seemed to be way off to where it should be for your teammate that's been with you for a few years now. So I don't know if that part's going to be fixed next year, because again, remember what we talked about earlier, I felt that the defense gave up on Dallas a lot of times because of mistakes Dak kept making. The defense will put them in a position with a short field. Like, all you got to do is at least get a field goal, guys. We can get you into the red zone with our defense. All you got to do is score. And Dak would 4 out, interception, whatever. And then the defense is getting tired. I'm like, okay, we're in the second half of this game. We're tired, boss. We're not going to keep putting ourselves on the front line like this if you're not going to score for us. And I think that may be the same thing that's going to happen next year. I think they gave Cooper Rush some grace because they're like, hey, he's the backup quarterback. Let's show him some grace. He's not supposed to score like Dak. Dak, you're the multi-million-dollar quarterback. You're the highest paid quarterback in the league. You're supposed to put up some magic, and you're not doing it. And I think, to me, that's what happened with our defense. Of course, we were decimated, but I think they just gave up on Dak a lot of times. You heard a lot of rumblings toward the end of the playoffs last year where Micah Parsons threw some shots at Dak, where CeeDee Lamb's, I think, mother or brother, one of the two, might have been both, threw some shots at Dak. And none of them came and said, oh, no, none of that's true. I'm for my quarterback. Number one quarterback. He's our quarterback. We don't want no one else. Michael Parsons, during the middle of the season on his podcast, when they were ranking the top 10 quarterbacks, and he didn't list Dak Prescott. He could have defended him in that right, but they was like, no, I'm gonna be truthful. These are the quarterbacks I would put in. Dak is not my quarterback, not my top quarterback or nothing. He could have said no comment, nothing. He didn't defend his guy at all, which is not a great teammate to me. I don't think they really like this dude. And I don't think it's going to change next year unless Dak somehow gets better.
I think going into this year, that Green Bay playoff loss, we never fully recovered from to this day. And combined with not recovering from that Green Bay playoff loss, keep this in mind, CeeDee Lamb held out. He didn't go to training camp.
That is a good point.
CeeDee Lamb held out, did not go to training camp, didn't have the chemistry there that you typically create with your number one wide receiver, your quarterback needs with your number one wide receiver. So let's combine the way the last season ended on that debacle in Dallas against Green Bay, and then CeeDee Lamb got paid, but CeeDee Lamb did not go to training camp. I believe with those two combustible elements, it led to tension between Dak and CD throughout this season. And I did see at points where they kind of was on they were dapping each other up a little bit. I'll see them talking and dapping each other up on a rare play, on a rare good play. But I believe so. We know how this season ended. No playoffs. It's not like as if it's not going to have the dramatics that last season had. With it's not going to have the dramatics that last season had, like getting blown out in the playoffs. Season's over. Dak got injured, so it's almost as if, all right, I'm not going to say we got an excuse, but everyone's injured. Let's start fresh next year. Now, CeeDee Lamb, you got paid. Take your ass to training camp. Take your ass to training camp with your QB who has not played in damn near a year to that almost at that point, who is refreshed and rehabbed. So you and then he should be refreshed and rehabbed. So you got your QB1 who's paid. You got your wideout one who's paid, and they both are now, I guess, healed and refreshed and in training camp. So with those two elements, there should be no issues with at least them two going into next season. The biggest one was the fact that CeeDee Lamb didn't go to training camp.
But I got to put pushback on that because last year they had issues. And, they would, and again, they've been together for a few seasons now. They should be on some sort of accord at this point. Yeah, I mean, I get, you got to get your reps in for the preseason, any preseason that you play in, whatever season you play in. But they were so off, even after a few games. They were off. I mean, they played okay last year, of course, but then that Green Bay game, the facial features of both of them that they were displaying during that game, they quit. They quit. And I feel it's the same thing that happened this year. Not just CeeDee Lamb. I think the team quit at certain points. It's like, here we go again. Here's Dak again imploding when we need him the most. And but he'll show up when the defense goes into prevent mode and it's the fourth quarter and we're down by 3 touchdowns. Now all of a sudden he wants to play like we want Patrick Mahomes on our team to play.
Yeah, good point. The Falcons game this season is where I saw an overall just everyone quit. Even Dak. I don't know which game it was when he was on the sideline saying we fucking suck.
Oh yeah. You don't even say that as a leader. I don't think you don't say that. You don't ever give up on it because everybody's going to follow your lead at some point if they believe you're the leader.
And he has to know. He has to know. I'm Dak Prescott. I just got injured. I'm on the sidelines. I play for Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be careful with what I say and even what I mouth because it's going to get caught on camera somehow. I mean, Dak Prescott is I got to believe this. I really got to believe this, Red. When he said we fucking suck, he didn't care if he got caught saying it.
Yeah.
I really got to believe that because you know how cautious and careful he is when he's doing a press conference and how he's not gonna say this or how he's gonna word certain things. That was blatant. We fucking suck. You don't get no more blatant than that.
Right.
So I gotta believe at that point he didn't care if he got caught saying it. And to your point, if you're the leader of the Dallas Cowboys and that gets caught on film, you mouthing that, how is that gonna look? Especially on the game that you just got injured and now you out for the rest of the season.
Yeah, exactly. That part. And there's more season to be played. Half the season wasn't even over yet.
We were still in the running for a playoff spot.
Right.
We were still in the running for a playoff spot when he said that. And I get, okay, you're out for the season. Okay, be an inspiration. Now you can be the inspiration to Cooper Rush, Trey Lance. You can be the cheerleader to a degree, But the next couple games, this dude's in the press box. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like I just
Imagine
feel
coming
like
to
that, like I
after the
said, Dak
game.
Prescott, he's good enough to get us to the playoffs. He's good enough to get. I'm gonna have to kind of go back on my words. He's good enough to get us to the playoffs when things are going good for him. Let me put that into perspective. When everything is smooth for Dak Prescott, I'm talking you up, you win the coin toss, you go down the field, you score on the first drive, defense stopped them on the second drive, and then you score a field goal. So now you up 10-3, 10-0. That's when you're playing ahead. That's when Dak Prescott looks like goddamn Joe Montana for the rest of the game because he's playing ahead. He's not worried about coming back.
Imagine you come after the game and you see what Dak Prescott mouthed out, right? And then you like, so which one of us on the team really sucks? Who are you talking about? Are you including yourself in that equation, or are you talking about the rest of us? You talking about the offensive line? Are you talking about the defense? Who are you talking about exactly?
Well, in fairness, he did say we. So I'm guessing he included himself.
I hope he was honest when it comes to that. But still, you don't want to hear that stuff now. We're having a bad game, but we don't want to hear we suck, at the first half of the season, even though it is true. You don't want to hear it.
And that was I thought the downfall of the season was the Giants game, the very first Giants game, because we went through hell and high water that game to beat them, and Giants are obviously sorry, but that's when we lost Michael Parsons and D-Law, and oh my God, we haven't even touched on this guy, Trayvon Diggs.
Good point. I forgot about him. Yeah,
Trayvon mother effing Diggs. Okay. We lost him too in that game. He came back, but I got a Trayvon Diggs. I don't know where to go from this one because I remember that one season when he had all those interceptions, and he looked like
Dion.
He was looking like this breakout star. And that was his sophomore season, I believe. He was looking like this breakout star with all those interceptions. But here's the thing. And I was saying this even when he was getting those interceptions, he has to time that perfectly because if he doesn't catch it, he's going to get beat. And the best example of that, I remember that year it was against the Panthers. We won the game, but there was an interception he did not time perfectly, and he got burnt on it.
He got burnt a lot. He got burnt a lot the season. He did have a lot of interceptions, to be honest.
Right. It's just that he was sporadically getting interceptions. Or he'll get or the quarterback will go long, deep down the field and he'll get a pick. And once he gets the pick, he gets hit. But that's just the equivalent of a punt.
Yeah. Yeah, he played 11 games this season, ended with 2 intersections this season. Previous seasons, he's had 1, 3, 2022, he had 3, 21 sophomore season, like you just said, he had 11. I don't think he's been quite the same since it was an ACL tear, I think.
ACL tear. Yeah, the ACL tear.
Yeah. I don't think he's been quite the same. Of course, he's nowhere near as many interceptions as he had the sophomore season. But I think he's been getting burnt a lot more since he's came back. I don't know if he can get back to the style of play that he was playing before or the type of player he was before. So I don't know what's going to happen going forward with Mike Zimmerman, with him in our defense. I mean, he's not a scrub, but he's not, I don't think, what we thought he was going to be after that second season.
Yeah, he's not what we thought he was going to be after the second season. And then DeRon Bland comes along, and he gets the pick 6 record. And then at one point, we was like, okay, we got DeRon Bland and Trayvon Diggs on the field at the same time. This is going to be just big lockdown. And, DeRon Bland, he was injured this season too.
Yeah.
So he sat out a good portion of the season too. And Trayvon Diggs has already been paid. So
that part. Yeah.
So Trayvon Diggs has already been paid. So we got to take that into consideration as far as possibly reconstructing his contract, which I don't think he's going to go for. I do think Dak will go for a reconstruction of the contract to get help to a degree. Right. I don't think Trayvon Diggs is going to go for it.
Okay.
But yeah, Trayvon Diggs is a player that we just, if he doesn't get picks and if he doesn't have a season like he had his sophomore season, he just lies in the weeds. He has a mundane season. And again, he's a corner, so that's not the most popular or flashy position to play unless you're in the 90s and you're Dion.
All right. Well, with that being said, we're coming to the last show for the season as far as for the Dallas Cowboys. And we get to talk about them and all their mishaps because there wasn't a lot of things to celebrate this year. So we're going to end with a 2-minute note about what we thought about the season and what we think is going to happen in the future. Tremaine, I'll let you go first. Pop the timer up here, and you tell us, what you think is going to happen in the future, what you hope happens in the future, and then I'll go after you.
All right.
All right. Let me pop the timer up here. Hold up. Where you go? Let me fix that. I'll make it a little smaller. Thought I was gonna get a little smaller for us when we got up here, so we can actually see your face. All right, there we go. All right, let's try that again. All right, here we go.
So, overall, if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, this season was an utter disappointment for multiple reasons. The primary reason wasn't coaching, wasn't just the playmaking ability. It was injuries. Those other things played a part, but injuries took us out. From Dak to Bland to Parsons, D-Law, all of them. What we can look forward to going forward into the next season is Mike McCarthy will be the coach. Just get ready for that. It's going to happen. Mike McCarthy will be the coach. Dak Prescott will be the quarterback. CeeDee Lamb will be wide receiver 1. Those 3 things are going to happen going into next season. But also what we gotta focus on is the running game. The running game. Rico Dowdle, like I said earlier in this video, one positive in this season was Rico Dowdle's running. To be at 1,000 yards and you not being the number 1 back is pretty good. But rushing and getting Dak and CD on the same page again. That's another issue that we got to focus on going into the offseason. And honorable mention, I hope he stays because I really like this cat, Brandon Cooks. I really hope we can keep him. I believe he's free agent, but if there's any free agent that I don't want to lose, I really want to keep Brandon Cooks. I believe with CD being the number 1, Brandon Cooks is a close number 2, unless we can make some noise in the draft. He's a close number 2. He's the best that we may get. He was number 2 last season, and we at least got to the playoffs. So with that being said, I believe those are the things we need going forward into next season.
Right. All right. Now let's see what I got to say about it. I don't know if I can do as good as you. You hit a lot of topics there. I'm gonna try my best.
I was looking at
all right, so be pretty simple. Just get rid of McCarthy. That's it. No, get rid of McCarthy. And these are things I hope for and wish for. Nothing wrong with wishing and hoping. Get rid of McCarthy. Get rid of Jerry Jones. Get rid of Dak. just get rid of the whole Jones family at this point. Keep Parsons. You know what? Get rid of him too. Let's just start fresh. Just burn the whole establishment down. Just restart. But here's what's going to happen. I agree with everything you pretty much said in your statement. But for right now, here's what we can do. We're going to go home. We're going to watch the playoff games, unfortunately, because we're not in it. So I have every team that's in the NFL playoffs right now. I have a doll. It's a voodoo doll. And the Eagles and the Commanders, you're number one on my list. I'm going to do my best to make you guys mess up in the playoffs. That's our role right now. We can't play the championship role where we can beat you in the playoffs. So this is all I got now. This is how bad of a fan I am right now. This is all I got. I'm just going to pray you lose in the worst way. I hope you get embarrassed. I hope you have as long as a drought. Well, Washington already has a longer drought than us, but I hope Philly has even longer of a drought to their next championship than we have had since we've had one. And that's the best I can do. And until next year, and we're going to say it's our year next year too. But for right now, that's all I can do is play the spoils and get rid of the Jerrys, the McCarthys, and the Daks, and hopefully everything will work itself out in the end. But probably won't, though.
Perfect.
And that is our show for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please hit the like and subscribe button so you see more content of The Last Rewind and other shows that we're doing. Check out Tremaine's Give Them Their Flower series. Got one up there. What was the last one we did? Murder Inc. Got one coming up here with Jamie Foxx pretty soon. What was the other one you did? What's the first one you did?
Montel Jordan.
No. You didn't. I mean, the other one, the first one you did.
Skip Bayless.
Okay, yeah, you got one with Skip Bayless, Give Them Their Flowers. Check that series out. And more content where we got dealing with sports and other things in entertainment. So Dallas is going away, but we're not. We're going to be back next week with more footage and content for you. And you make sure you guys be kind out there and check out The Last Rewind. We'll see you on the next show. Peace.